All right, guys, all I can say is what the heck is up, guys? Welcome into Kurt Magoo Sports, Slaughterhouse Sports. Again, happy Mother's Day to all of your mothers who are watching this show. Mother's Day is a beautiful holiday. It's time to celebrate the moms and do that today. So again, to y'all's family, to everybody watching out there, happy Mother's Day, and always make sure you tell your mom how much you love and appreciate her. Alrighty, guys. So Mother's Day, and speaking of a little Mother's Day, I guess we could also talk about the holiday that is in the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, that was a weird transition, but we got the Atlanta Falcons and their draft class. So, guys, we're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons draft class, and I got to admit, Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is my type of coach. He's a no BS coach. You know, he comes from, again, the owner of FedEx. So he comes from a wealthy family, but you wouldn't know it. He's very, very humble, very hardworking, didn't have anything handed to him, had to work his way up through the Tennessee Titans coaching realm. Again, he survived multiple regimes where the coach would get fired, like Malarkey would end up getting fired, Jeff Fisher, I believe, and Arthur Smith just stayed on. And that's because he was reliable. He was a hard worker. You knew what you were getting, and he's a very honest guy. And Atlanta was one of my favorite teams to watch last year. The reason why Atlanta was so fun is because, again, they started off like 1-3. They were able to beat the Giants, and I even want to go back and just really talk about the Falcons, but they were able to get up big on the Miami Dolphins. Tua came back, and then Matt Ryan put together a drive with Kyle Pitts. They played very well against the Jets over in London. So the games that they were supposed to win, they really competed. And then against the Patriots, their defense stepped up with A.J. Terrell and played really, really well, where the offense struggled. In Buffalo, they had a really good couple of quarters until, again, Josh Allen just took over. So they're a building team, but they were a tough 7-10 where they were constantly on the edge of the playoffs and they were constantly fighting until the final week of the year, and they didn't give up. They didn't give up. So it was an incredible, gritty 7-10 win without Calvin Ridley and really with a rebuilding roster entirely. An aging quarterback, offensive line that wasn't really there, pass rushers in question, the entire defense not that great. So they're trying to resurrect, a roster that was overpaid and a roster that Dan Quinn and company did not set up well to succeed. All right, so that's why I love it. I'm on the ground floor of the rebuild. I love what Fontenot did, helping out Mickey Loomis with the Saints. Really a kind GM and a guy that is going to put the Falcons in a great position to succeed. And then you have Arthur Smith, and these guys are hard workers and they're consistent. They're great people. Arthur Blank as well seems like a great owner of the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons are a fun team, okay? They have a tight-knit fan base. People will mock them for the Super Bowl for a long time, but Matt Ryan was a very, very good quarterback there. And then in the offseason, it's kind of sad what ended up happening. They went after Deshaun Watson. That's what happened. They went after Deshaun, and Deshaun ended up going to Cleveland because I bet he found out that he could probably win more games in Cleveland. All right, so that was kind of an awkward situation that Fontenot had to deal with. And then the Atlanta Falcons, they ended up trading him. They did right by Matt Ryan. They put him on a win-now team in the AFC, just got back a third-round pick. But overall, this was an exciting time in Atlanta. Still had a top 8 pick. They used it on Drake London. And I'm going to be completely honest. At the time of the pick, I didn't really like it. I think Garrett Wilson is still going to probably be a better receiver than Drake London, but Drake London fits the Atlanta game. He fits the scheme because Atlanta wants to have, again, taller receivers that could catch the ball in traffic and score, all right, with a quarterback like Mariota or Desmond Ridder. So you're going to have Kyle Pitts and you're going to have Drake London. They're both over 6'5". They're both great at contested catches. So in the red zone, down, you're going to be able to have consistency. On third down, you're going to have, 3rd and 5s, you're going to have a lot of options. Also, there are small speed guys to be had or to be found at the NFL level, like your Juju Smith-Schusters, your Zachariases, all right? So the Drake London, first of all, also in the interview, he killed it. His ethos is perfect. He's such a hardworking guy. He'll play special teams. The Atlanta Falcons, they get a receiver now because Calvin Ridley, I'm sure he's a great guy, but the gambling thing, it does hurt, okay? Mental health, I totally get. I totally sympathize with Ridley about that process. I also sympathize with him about the gambling. So the Falcons, they needed to draft somebody that they can reliably expect to be playing, and it's not a slight at Ridley, but it's just the reality of the business. They needed a wide receiver in this process. They get Drake London. London also is a physical blocker, plays the game at a great speed and pace, so the intangibles are what pushed London over the other guys, combined with the ability now that you have with Kyle Pitts, and I think London is good. If London's ever Mike Evans, that would be ridiculous. He can't be Arcega-Whiteside, though. He's got to be able to separate, create, and Arthur Smith was very good in the press conference. He was great at explaining to the reporters who were pressing him that Drake London played in the slot. He played so many other positions, and he could fly and has all the game speed and separation skills necessary. So that pick's exciting. That's still a little bit of a risky pick, but it's exciting. Then the Atlanta Falcons, we're going to talk about day 2 because that is what really can end up changing the franchise, right? That can change the franchise is a day like day 2. And that was a magical day 2, all right, for the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm going to give the London pick a B+. I think that, again, it's going to, if they drafted Wilson, it's just more exciting now with London. I'll tell you why, because you get something in the red zone. At number 38, they get Arnold Epikidi. I love this pick. His highlights are ridiculous. He seems to have first-round qualities about him. He has long arms. The bend is ridiculous, like his flexibility, how he's able to bend and scoot under offensive tackles. This guy could be a Pro Bowl rock star player. The upside is tremendous. That's the A+. That might be the pick of the draft. He could be a tremendous player, like maybe 8 or 9 sacks, like a little like Vic Beasley-like. Then they get Troy Anderson out of Montana State. This guy has one of the best stories ever. Dillon, Montana, small town Montana, 6'2", plays quarterback at Montana State, a champion in not only football but also basketball and track in his hometown of Dillon, Montana. Kid is a winner, intangibles, but he can really run, and he's super athletic, So, and he's 6'2", so his upside, again, you're talking about someone who could potentially be a tremendous linebacker in the NFL. With that pick. Round 3 then, I couldn't believe this. I thought that this guy would go in the high round 2s. This guy has unbelievable intangibles. He helped Cincinnati get to the college football playoff. The last few years, he's had some combined record of like 25-2, and that is Desmond Ridder, The only game I think they lost 2 years ago was to Georgia in the same Georgia Dome on a game losing field goal for Cincinnati. Then they were undefeated in the regular season, and then against Alabama, he wasn't even that great, but again, it was a lot of pressure from Will Anderson in Alabama. Ridder is 6'4", has all the size, the measurements that you want at the quarterback position. Intangibly, he is an incredible leader, one of the most special guys you can ever listen to talk. What are his concerns? He's very thin. All right, so he's been durable, but he's really thin. His release, because he's kind of a taller guy, it's not the quickest release, His arm strength is okay. His accuracy, though, intermediate-wise, can sometimes be a question mark, but his release is not the quickest release. But Ridder, still, his arm is still pretty good. His arm is still good enough to succeed. The accuracy, I believe, will get better. I believe that the guy can honestly, there's a world in which he's a top 15 quarterback. I really do. I think he could be a decent quarterback. I'm not sure that he could be Dak Prescott because Prescott has just great accuracy and Prescott's a lot bigger, really hard to bring down. But that's the mold that you'd want Desmond Ridder to be. You want him to be, a guy that can, play action pass, can go up in there and hit Kyle Pitts and hit Drake London in the end zone. And I think that this is going to be the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons for a long time. So to get him in the third round might be the best pick in the draft. So this is one of my favorite drafts for the Atlanta Falcons. It was just an incredible draft. The Ridder pick. Again, what does Ridder do well? He can throw the deep ball well. He can throw it with touch. Why didn't he get selected higher? It's because a little bit inconsistent, with his accuracy. The arm isn't totally there. He sometimes struggles to drive the ball. His mechanics are a little bit clunky. He's really tall. And again, the arm motion and angle, I still don't really get it either. I think that this guy, is clear cut. He was similar to what Teddy Bridgewater was coming out of Louisville, like a very consistent, accurate, good quarterback. And his intangibles, I think that this guy is easily a high round 2 player that I believe can be a starter in this league. I believe he can be really, really good. I believe he can be really effective. And the way Arthur's going to build it with kind of a run-first offense, then having Pitts and also Drake London, I believe that there's plenty of explosiveness there to uncover. I think his arm strength is even better than Mariota's. Mariota probably has more touch. Mariota has a quicker release, a more consistent throwing motion than Ridder. And Mariota's played in the league, so he's going to get the defenses down. But that quarterback room, I believe that you have 2, solid options. I believe that Ridder is going to be a really good quarterback. Like the Giants could have used Desmond Ridder. Will Ridder be an elite quarterback? His escapability isn't that great for him to be unbelievably elite. So how is he at improvising? He's not that great at improvising at all. And the arm strength is like on a rate of 1 to 10, it's like maybe a B to like a B minus, just because he has trouble sometimes like really driving it to the sideline. And at Cincinnati, again, it was a very favorable offensive system, but I think it's going to be similar to the Falcons. Favorable meaning like he didn't have to carry the team. Like sometimes C.J. Stroud will throw like 45, 50 times. All right, so Ridder has good size, good height. The arm, it wasn't totally there. And then him improvising, although he can run in the middle of the field, he is not the biggest guy, so he's never going to run through somebody. And him breaking tackles will be a struggle at the NFL level. And again, you worry about the release, the consistent accuracy, and the arm is not totally there. So again, I think that he needs, a year to wait to play, but his intangibles are just fantastic. He's going to read the game. He's going to see the game well, and I think he'll be accurate. I think he'll be a really fine starting quarterback. I think that his football intelligence and I believe the accuracy will get better. He will learn to throw with touch. The kid was a special winner at Cincinnati. So I know that there's a reason why he wasn't like a Mahomes or a Josh Allen. The upside isn't there compared to the star quarterbacks, compared to the stars. All right, but even Malik Willis, who does have upside like stars, like a Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Malik Willis has that upside. Ridder is a safer pick because he played in a pro-style offense and was consistent at the Power 5 or at the Group of 5 level. So that's another mark on him is some people will look at competition. But so many teams were good with their quarterbacks that they didn't want to use a pick on Ridder. But Ridder and Arthur Smith, the football intelligence and the confidence that Ridder has, he's just like Dak at Mississippi State in the sense that these guys are special and winners, okay? Even Kyler Murray's been pretty good in the NFL because he was a winner in college. So it doesn't mean it's not the be-all, end-all. There's winners in college that aren't that good at the NFL. Blake Bortles was pretty consistent as a winner. Tim Tebow, of course, was the winningest quarterback. Maybe in college football history, Tim Tebow, one of the greatest college quarterbacks ever, didn't work out. All right. Round 3, still in round 3, they get D'Angelo Malone. This guy was incredible down in Mobile. High character kid, a kid like an infectious personality from the Atlanta area. You get a hometown kid, but the guy really has burst, okay? The guy really has burst off of the edge. Really physical player, and again, has an upside because he can run. Okay, he can run pretty dang well. He can change directions. He's not as slippery as Arnold, and he's a bigger target for offensive linemen than Arnold Epikidi. But this kid will get pressure on the quarterback. This kid will be productive. I love the pick. And kind of your locker room leader, anchor on defense, along with Anderson, who I believe, so you get great leaders, and Ritter's an awesome leader, Drake London, Arnold, Epikidi. Like, the guys that they draft are just quality guys. Like, you're talking the apex of the intangible process in the draft room. Tyler Algier, this is the guy, all right? He should be the starting running back. He was a linebacker, went to BYU, then became a running back. He's going to bring speed. He's going to bring power, 3-down back. He's going to be one of those guys that's a really good running back. I'm trying to think of who I would compare him to. Like, imagine a Willie Parker that plays longer than Willie Parker, or imagine like Derek Ward. Trying to even think of who else we can talk about here. Deuce Staley's a really good example. Deuce and actually Staley and McAllister, both are good examples here. Deuce McAllister for the New Orleans Saints. Like, this guy's like kind of your early 2000s, like tough 3-down back. So I'm gonna love watching it because there's nothing finesse about Tyler Algier. Okay, he might not be the tallest guy, but he just runs so physical. He is strong. He's a strong back. Solid pick. Really solid pick. 5'10", but 225. So I really like it. Damian Williams on the roster. Cordell. Okay. I don't know about Mike Davis's status either. Then they get Schaefer out of Georgia, and they go Fitzpatrick. So they get a couple of Georgia guys at the end. How do I like this draft class? It's an awesome draft class. Awesome draft class. It's awesome because you get Ritter, who's your quarterback of the future. Arnold Epikidi could be a Pro Bowler, could be in talks to really even be special kind of player, like Defensive Player of the Year special. Okay, should have been a top 15 pick, honestly, when you just watch all the highlights and all the upside and the measurables, like the long arms and the way that he bends. He's gonna be a special football player. Drake London could be terrific. I think he's going to be a really good receiver. You add him and Kyle Pitts together. Troy Anderson could be a starter for 10 years. Like, really, Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith. I can't be more excited about Falcons football. Hopefully this year they go like 9 wins. Mariota plays decent. And then like in year 3, maybe with Ritter or Marcus, they just absolutely explode. But I think this offense is going to go well. I think this defense is ready too. And in a week, NFC South, I believe that they can maybe get Tampa Bay at home and really compete for the division because Carolina isn't very good and the Saints are in rebuild mode. I love Atlanta and what Arthur and Terry are doing. It's a really fun team to root for, great coaching staff, great ownership, and a fan base that is very loyal and not really your bandwagon type of fan base. And this team is fun because, again, they're building it with guys like Algier, Drake London, and really like Troy Anderson, Epikidi. These guys like aren't the most like well-known guys coming out of college, but they're going to be like role players who are all going to perform their positions well, and this is really a team. This isn't like you have Mahomes or Josh Allen. This is a total team effort in Atlanta, and that's why it's going to be so much fun watching Atlanta. So I'm giving it an A+. I think it was an unbelievable draft, one of the best ever for the Falcons in their history, and it's going to be exciting and fun.